Wondering how to fall completely in love with the people and things that surround you at home? I've spent the last 15 years studying how and where families thrive and what relational and house characteristics ignite us with that homey feeling. On this podcast, we uncover how our brains process the people we live with and the houses we live in so we can confidently create our homes to be wonder-filled connection magnets. Ready to give up the decision fatigue, comparison hives, overwhelmed ulcers, and confusion chaos? You are in the right place. I'm your host, Carly Thornock. Welcome to Becoming Home. What's up, homies? I am so glad that you are here today. And today I have with me Travis Sorenson. We are going to be talking about how your house and picking a lot and finding where your true heart lies in a place can be related to creating a home. So of course, the link feels a little bit obvious that your house is your home, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And especially people like Travis who help us find these houses, these places of refuge that that our soul connects to. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm so excited to talk to Travis here today. Travis, welcome to Becoming Home.
Thank you. Thanks for welcoming me, having me here with you. I appreciate it. Love talking about homes and families and that all the goodness. So yeah,
that is all the goodness. That's what I keep calling it. I'm like, what do we call this? It's just like the goodness of life. So you guys, Travis is just not a random real estate agent. He is a good friend of mine that we go back years and years and years. Let's track our relationship. Probably almost 20 years.
Yeah.
15 for sure.
Yeah, well, at least 15. Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a while. Oh
Travis was my very first dance partner. And if there's anybody that I can trust with anybody's awkward, like sometimes when we bring people into our houses, we're like, they're going to see everything about me. If they know what I really am like, maybe they won't like me. Travis has seen all the things about me and he still is a kind, loving friend. When you're first learning how to dance, I feel like there's nothing more vulnerable. And that was how I got to know Travis. He's a wonderful person. If you're looking for a house, I highly recommend Travis helping you for sure.
Yeah, good old awkwardness of dancing. That's always fun.
We were laughing about how our first competition, we'd practiced like the whole semester. And we had our friend coaching us who was like a fancy dancer on the tour team already. And we had our choreography nailed and I was wearing this really sparkly dress. And the first like 8 counts of the dance, I got my high heel stuck in the hem of my skirt. And we couldn't get it out the whole time. So we just sat there like, Anyway, it was a really good time. Okay, so Travis works under the umbrella of Better Homes and Gardens with this team called Sanctum Realty, right?
Yep.
Tell us about how that kind of works. Tell us like the inner workings of real estate.
Yeah, so it's interesting because with real estate, it's real property, they call it, whatever that means. And so it's kind of highly regulated because of its permanence, right? So like land, housing, real estate, it's like it exists kind of thing forever. You can't really destroy it very much. And so the nice thing about it is so Better Homes and Gardens has a brokerage. They have the liability as far as transactions and insurance and covering and making sure all of the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everything, all the regulatory stuff's taken care of. And then as agents, we are licensed under that brokerage to utilize their name and or their expertise, insurance, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And as far as the team goes, so we still operate under that same umbrella. We just have a team of individuals that we work with, agents that work with us within the same brokerage, right? And it's funny you bring up our resort, our home. My sister and I we're the team leaders, and we kicked around the idea of names for a while because we were like, oh, we could call it the so and so group, and we just didn't. I guess we're not terribly egotistical. No, I'm just teasing. But no, if you have your own name, it's okay. I totally understand. We didn't want that though, so we went with Sanctum. And for fans of Doctor Strange or Marvel stuff, which you know I am, Carly.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Sanctum is like representative of a retreat or like a resort, a close, like almost sacred place.
Yes, it's like they call it like the inner sanctum often, right?
Exactly.
Like
yep.
The heart.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why I liked it. But I talked my sister into it. So
yeah, I love it. I think that's great. I want someone to help me find my sanctum. That's amazing. That's so great.
No,
And what's so compelling about you, Travis? I mean, of course, you're a father, you're a husband. So you have the family thing nailed down. By the way, his wife is beautiful. And probably that's why all of his children are beautiful. Although, Travis, you're beautiful as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely have. Definitely have.
I'm just kidding. My dad was always like, my kids got all their good looks from me because my wife still got hers.
That's funny.
But also, Travis, you are educated in social work as well. Like you're a social work master. So how does this world of social work collide with helping people find their homes?
Well, and it's interesting you say, because I feel like social work was nice in that I think it really taught me a lot about myself and then how I relate with and can, I guess, help people. The reason I like it so much is the focus on starting where people are, right? And I feel like commonly in house hunting, people, you have your parents' home and that's your idea of house and home, right? Like our parents' idea of, right? It's like, I want this house, I want this feel. And what people forget and don't realize is that your parents have been building this thing, this home for years, right? And to step into a house, your first house, and be like, I want it to be like this, it may or may not feel as much like that. And so it's interesting because I think with social work, it's been nice because I can kind of drill down with what people want and kind of not the 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, like
right.
acre kind of thing, but really, I guess, find out why people want what they want, where it's like that. There's a resonance, I think, that happens. And that's kind of what I try to focus on.
A resonance. Okay. Talk to me about resonance and tell me why you think people want what they want.
No, well, it's just, I feel like commonly what we don't realize is there's like, I always picture, and Abby's a violinist. And so this works really well for her too, is the resonance. So like if something resonates, it strikes a chord within you, right? Where it's like something is, manifesting in me right now, whatever it is, where
it's like vibrating on the same frequency. You can feel it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you can, I guess, yeah, that's a good way. You can feel it, right? You're getting the vibes or the feels or whatever. And so that home that you want to create commonly is associated with the feelings that you have and have felt or want to feel in your house, right? Whether that's your past, your because of your family, friends, but it's like this home would facilitate that. And so like, a feeling of safety, of warmth, of comfort, of entertainment, whatever it might be. But generally people don't realize it, but they do buy emotionally. Like I walk through houses so commonly where it's like, oh my gosh, like someone's just like, I just love this house. And it's, and for some reason, and usually you can kind of find out why, like, we've all walked through those. Well, I don't know if we all have, like people have walked through random houses where you're like, this is a random house. And some people just absolutely love it for whatever reason. But yeah, it's a very emotional thing. And it's more, I think, linked to, just kind of who we are and where we are as a person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is so true. Okay, I have a question for you. Maybe this feels a little out there, but I want to explore it and see what you think, because you help people with their houses all the time. Like I've shopped for a house a few times. We have a few like Airbnb type rental properties. We've bought a few properties. Right now we're building our own house, but you help people do this every single day. It's your job. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel like people approach home buying as far as vision is concerned? And my speculation is that people come into home buying and they have like a past. Everything that's gone on before that point is what's informing them of what they want in their house, whether it's their parents' house right now, their childhood home, their house that they currently live in. These are all informing their house decisions. Have you noticed anybody that's able to come into these home walkthroughs with a future vision instead of a past vision? And have you noticed a difference?
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because generally, like at least from my personal experience, like I have rarely seen someone do it on their first home, where their first home, I feel like it's less common. I think there's been one person, and funny enough, it was Abby, who walking through our first home, it was a disaster. It was like literally HUD home, like there'd been a fire in the kitchen, there was no carpet or electricity. It was terrible. But she had this vision that turned it into a beautiful home. Most of the time, through it's kind of like an interview process. I don't say it like not in a ruling you out, more of an exploration type thing where we're able to kind of discern and find out. Sorry, my dog ran in. Where we're able to find out kind of why you want what you want, and like what you want it to feel like or develop into. Building a house, I feel like, is a much easier way to craft that feel, as long as you work with the right home designers and you ask the right questions, because it's not easy to quantify. And I feel like so often, like, unless you're emotionally mature and very in touch, and you have like a degree of safety and security, and oftentimes that can come, the safety and security can come with a lack of budget, right? Where it's like, I want this, but I guess most of us aren't really blessed with this lack of budget when it comes to building something. We need to we can't spend $100,000 on the flooring. We want it to be warmer or whatever, right? But more asking the right questions and feeling safe with the people that you confer with and you design with and you work with to really develop that feeling that you kind of want to exist in your home, right? Whether you want, like, I don't know, like, I think a good example is, so when we were building our home, we have a kitchen that leads into the great room, and the great room's vaulted, right? And so part of it is, Abby and I discussing it, we wanted that open feel. Like, we wanted the kitchen to feel cozy and I guess close. But then as you walk into the great room, it opens up and it feels more up, I guess, airy and nice. And so part of that was obviously us, but we've had people walk through and be like, well, why would you put that? Why not build more space there? You'd have more space. And it's like, that's not what we wanted, kind of thing, but being able to see that and to find that and to use that, I think, is something, it takes a little bit of honing. And I think questions and the right people asking the right questions is very helpful.
This is huge, because if you don't feel safe, there's no way you're going to let yourself feel those feelings. And when you can't feel your body, feel your feelings, you won't be able to resonate with things on the outside of you to match. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be much harder to find the fit if you aren't sure where you're starting from. Shameless plug for the knowing. Everybody jump in. This is what we do in the knowing, is we help you get really clear about the feeling that you create. That's such a good way of putting into words the necessity of this experience. This is what great real estate agents will help you do. Great designers, great architects. Sometimes we get so focused on the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or like what's trendy or what you should do, the more space, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And if we don't stand up for ourselves of like, we don't want space, we want open.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
that's
often
where we run into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you said, I think it's often it comes at the expense of something else, where it's like, well, it's less space, more money, less money, whatever. But I think really you come down to it and you ask those questions like, well, why do I have this home? What's this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do I have this home? Totally. All right, Travis. So what do you find? What's been your experience? What's been something fun you've noticed about people shopping for homesteads? People who want a little bit of acreage, like land, to go with their house. Have you found any trends going on lately, or the success tips that you could share with us?
Yeah, I think generally when it comes to finding land and like homesteads are those types of situations where it's not what you're going to find, downtown. And it's generally it's a different experience depending on who you're working with. Right. And so, and because I've worked with developers and people who have the whole, I guess, living within the city and wanting to live within the city and then people who and it's a different vibe. It's a different feeling, like we've talked about. And so I think the tips that I have with that is, I guess, be open, right? As funny as that sounds, be open and understanding when you're looking, that when buying land and I guess trying to develop something, because homesteading is such a process, and taking the raw land and the resources that you have and the ability to use those for your benefit and also to kind of coexist and exist with it. It's a big process, right? And so you're going to need to be flexible a little bit, right? And so I think with that, have an idea, a strong idea what you want in your mind, and then I guess understand what you do or don't need, kind of thing. Yeah, because I think flexibility is one of those big keys, and then also I think finding like-minded individuals is very helpful. So as far as like groups, people, like kind of being plugged into communities can be very helpful. Where easily, like I know we've all had that situation or that time where we're talking to a friend about something and we have this big issue or problem we've been trying to work through, like, oh, I've been trying to write upside down in space with this pen and it doesn't work, and somebody gives us a pencil or whatever, right? It's like a simple solution somebody has probably already thought of, but it comes down to having those conversations. And again, I feel like trusted advocates and allies and people that we have in our life make all the difference and can make all the difference.
Yes, sir. I agree. Amen. Hallelujah to that.
Yeah.
I have experienced as we've been building our own homestead too, that when we have a strong future vision of who we want to be or how we want our house to look or how we want our homestead to be developed, then every time we see a property, we can see the starting point and we'll see like the equation kind of formulate out in our minds. To me, it feels very visual. Like I can kind of see the steps laid out in front of me. For some people, it's a feeling. But when you go to property A, you're like, all right, in order to get to B, where I want to be, we're going to have to do a new fence. We're going to have to re-roof the house. We're going to need to put up a barn, blah, blah, blah. Property B, we're going to have to separate the paddock. We're going to have to retill the garden. There's always going to be space between A and B. But finding the property match is just that flexibility that you were talking about. Would I rather re-roof or would I rather re-cement? What would I rather do? So your favorite clients, how do you work with them? What is your role? How do they come to you? And what is the thing that you add to their life to make it easy and streamlined and a gorgeous experience?
Yeah. Well, and the biggest thing I focus on is, again, it comes down to that social work aspect where I kind of give what I receive. So ideally, like I love working with friends and friends of clients and family of clients and friends. And just because part of it is I feel like-minded individuals kind of flock together, birds of a feather, so to speak. And so I like the people that I like, and generally speaking, they have people that they like kind of thing. And it jives and works really well. Because like you say, my history, like I'm a little bit, I have education. And so I'm not a salesman. Like I'm never going to try and talk someone to buying a house. Like that's a terrible idea. Just because it's like, I'm like,
yes, it is.
Who am I as a real estate person, whatever, like, I don't care if it like dips into like takes out of my pocket, doesn't matter. The point is like, if you sell people houses that they don't like, I mean, I don't like that. It's kind of icky. And so I feel like, so the ideal situation is like, if I have friends or family, somebody that they know who's looking, generally like the process, the way that I do it is I give as I'm given. And so if this person's eager and they're like a bulldog and they're ready to go out and kind of, attack the world, find the house as fast as possible, I can do that. And I do that. If somebody's, tenuously looking or tentatively looking, like I can do that as well. And so usually with our team, it's nice. We have a lot of visibility into deals and future opportunities. Like we sold a home on a golf course, a Highland golf course just recently. And it was a beautiful home. It was a little bit dated, but it was priced as such. And also like, it was a good home. And the couple that we ended up selling it to, they loved it and they were really happy with it because they knew it would take a little bit of updating, but they loved the location. It was a beautiful location. And the main point and purpose there is, helping connect the dots kind of thing. And I'm not like pushing or coercing people. It's more somebody says, hey, Travis, so-and-so's looking for a house or wants to sell their house, love to help out. And I'm very consultative in how we approach business, because again, not going to talk somebody into buying or selling their home. It's a big decision. So, but very, very informative is usually how I try to go about things.
That's so great. I love working with people who will meet me where I'm at. Have you guys ever been to like the department store and people keep coming up to you and they're like, can I help you with anything? Can I help you find anything? You're like, I'm just looking. But then there's sometimes where you just really need somebody to help you find that dang pair of jeans.
Around and you're like, yeah.
Somebody, yeah. I can't find my size. Help me out. Yeah. So that's really cool that you are able to be flexible and responsive that way. That's how I like to work with people. Everybody go hire Travis immediately.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. So Travis, people can find you online, I am sure. Where can they go online to find you?
Yeah, so we have a couple, like Travis D Realty, Sanctum Realty Group. Like we have our Facebook page, and that's usually where most of our stuff lands. Like we have our team's website, we have my website. What
are those websites? Tell us exactly, and we'll put them in the show notes too.
We have Travis D Realty. So it's just like, as it's just D, the letter D, Sanctum Realty Group. And the Realty is REALTY.
Not reality. This is not a reality show.
Yeah. Sanctum Realty Group. Yeah.
Realty.
And then we have a Facebook page where this is, and as with business stuff, I'm sure Carly, where a lot of it comes down to getting things organized and set up. We have our Facebook page, which is, I think, the Sanctum Realty Group, Sorenson and Forbes Real Estate Hub. So there's just a bunch of stuff out there. But the primary ones is if you do Travis D Realty and Sanctum Realty Group, that's where you'll find all of our stuff mostly. So
perfect. And then if people are outside of Utah, we have listeners a lot in Canada and across even Europe and into Australia and stuff.
Oh, nice.
What are a few tips that you can give them for finding their own real estate agent? If we all can't, well, first of all, just move to Utah and use Travis.
There you go.
Second of all, what are a couple of tips that they could implement for looking for their own realtor? What are some filters?
Yeah, honestly, I think understand that you can vet people, right? You can talk to them kind of thing. Because part of it is, I know it seems awkward. A lot of times people start by searching and you'll get solicited and someone will text you like, hey, do you want to see this property kind of thing? And you feel like you kind of fall into, it's like you bump into somebody at the store and they're like, hey, I'll sell you this. And you're like, okay, sure. That's almost how a lot of real estate transactions happen. Because the way that the market is such where if somebody's looking at a property, you'll get a message, you'll get a phone call or several. Just know you don't have to work with that person. It's not their listing. You don't need to do that. You can call somebody that you know and trust and chat about it. That's one thing I will always say. Almost 9 times out of 10, go with somebody you know and trust versus the person you bump into kind of thing.
The random person listed on Zillow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's say it again for the people in the back, because this is such a big deal. And I find a lot of my clients being really hesitant because to like fire somebody, even though it's not even firing them, but to shift gears, they don't know how to have those conversations appropriately or kindly. How do we do that?
I think one of the best things you can do. So, cause we have leads that will look at websites and look at things and we receive information, right? So the way our team works, we're much warmer than the quick close. We're in a relationships business in our team. That's we always do that. Yeah. we have like quarterly events and we have, we have giveaways and things we always do.
They really do. I get texts all the time, not even all the time, quarterly maybe from Travis. It's like, come to this fun family thing, bring the kids. There's food and games and Santa. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah. Well, and so, one of the best ways I would say to have the conversation is, hey, thanks for showing me that, or whatever it might be. I have a family or friend that I'm going to be working with, kind of thing. Like, and you can easily like let them down. It's like, cause at least for me, I understand where, as long as you haven't signed a document with agency, you have the freedom to be able to talk with and interview and talk to other people. And it's okay to say, hey, I have someone else I'm probably going to work with, kind of thing. Cause if their personality bugs you, you're going to be involved with them a lot for the whole process. Like it's like at least 30 days. That's if you find
minimum.
Out, at least minimum. Yeah. 30-day minimum. You're going to be interacting with this person, on a several times a week basis. So if they bug you, understand that's part of it. But yeah,
And
I
that's
think,
okay, right?
yeah.
Like it's okay to be like, this isn't a fit. I'm going to find somebody who is. Oh, maybe it's like dating where you're like, that was fun to go out. I'm actually interested in somebody else. It's almost kind to just cut it off quickly, know what you want, move on. And it's kind of just
Well,
part of the business, right?
yeah, well, and people love to make it seem like it's personal. Like, I mean, I ran into a few people that have been like that. But I mean, I get a lot of solicitations for like health insurance kind of thing. I have a person that I'm dedicated to, commonly like, thanks, I have somebody else I work with. Understand, I guess this is their business and they deal with this commonly. They know this. It's not like you're this one person who is going to ruin their day, by
breaking the rules.
exactly. You're not that person. You're the person that yeah. So it's understandable and okay. It's a business situation, and go with somebody you trust. Really.
Yes. Amen. That's so helpful. Travis, thank you for everything that you shared with us today. Everybody, Travis Sorenson for the win, the slow clap. Travis Sorenson, thank you so much for being here. All of his information will be listed in the show notes. And just like everything else with your life and your home, looking for a homestead, looking for a house is going to feel messy. So lean into it and go make a mess.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next week. Hey, if you're loving what you're hearing and you want to know more, I invite you to go over to carlythornock.com and you can pick up a free guide. These are the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when setting up their houses. And I don't want you to make the same mistakes. And of course, in true Carly fashion, it's going to be a lot less about the house and a lot more about your perspective about the house, but with some good housey tips thrown in. Go over to carlythornock.com and you can pick up that today.